Okay.
All right, we're back with another episode of the Sap Powers podcast. Today we have fellow comedian and singer, awesome person in general, Bonez Poley, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm in a really good mood. I just reconnected with an old friend today who I haven't talked to in forever, so it's awesome to talk to him, but also
Hmm.
he's going to let me join his Dungeons and Dragons group and we're going to do a Zoom campaign and I'm so excited.
That is so dope because, oh man, I just got into a D&D campaign, like my first one ever, like
Yeah.
2 months before all this shit started. And we had to
Uh,
put it on hold. We never did the whole internet thing, but I
well,
want
you
to.
could
It
do
looks
it.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. You could do it over Zoom. Like as long as everybody like all you need is your own dice really and
No,
then
there's like programs you can use or whatever where you can just like roll the dice on screen even. You don't need your own
lame.
dice.
Lame.
But I'm just saying, if you don't have any, you don't even need
All
any.
right. All
Yeah.
right. True. So you don't need anything. You
Yeah.
need Zoom.
Not everybody
Yeah.
has a D8, okay? Or like
I ordered mine on the internet. You could too.
hmm.
I wish I had mine here now to show off. They're not within reach and it took too long to get this set up. Just imagine that they're really cool.
Okay. What is your D&D character? Do you already have one set up?
So yeah, I've played a few different characters, but I kind of have one go-to that I like to reuse,
Hmm.
and he is a. So I started him off as a vampire warlock elf, and then I decided to not be a vampire anymore because it's like a pain in the ass because you have to keep interrupting the mission to go like drink blood, and it's just like so now he's undead. He's undead, but he's a vegan vampire.
Vegan vampire, I love it.
He's basically just me, but
Yeah.
male and with more powers.
So, did I miss anything in my description of
Yeah,
you?
what
What
about
else
you?
do
What's
you
your
do?
character?
Uh, um, my character is a rogue dragonborn thief.
Sorry, you're kind of like cutting up a little bit right now.
Oh, am I? You can't hear me?
You're getting choppy.
Oh no.
I just like you're back. That was
Okay.
just choppy for a minute there.
Sorry about that. I hope that
No
doesn't come
worries.
through on the thing. Um,
Yeah. Or
yeah,
hopefully it does. Because
yeah,
otherwise it's
yeah.
stupid. I'm like,
Otherwise, yeah,
what?
yeah.
Um
But yeah, did I miss anything? What else do you do? What else do you want to be known for?
like my character?
No, like you in real life. You do comedy, you're in a
Oh,
band, you
yeah.
have awesome medicines, you're just a cool chick. But what
Oh, thank
else?
you. I do visual art. I actually like I used to paint a lot and for a while I was like really making a go at it. I had
Mhm.
paintings in galleries all over the place
I
and
thought
and
so,
then
but I didn't want to say it if I was wrong.
yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
I haven't really been making that a priority in a while. I
Mhm.
what happened was I ended up going to school for it, which was a mistake. Don't ever go to school for the arts. It's such a waste.
Mm.
Well, I would say college maybe yeah, but university no. Because it's like it's such a subjective field, and you just end up spending the whole time banging your head against a brick wall because you're not. Of course, you're not going to agree with your professors, especially if you're me, about like your own personal self-expression. So so by the time I dropped out of school, I hated art and never wanted to do it again. um, I still like dabble here and there, but I'm
Mhm.
definitely making music and comedy the main priorities these days. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really into gardening, I guess. That's another thing. A lot of the herbs in my apothecary I grew and dried
Oh,
myself.
that's
Uh,
dope.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Those are like my main things, I guess, these days. I'm always all over the map, but
Do
yeah.
you have like a YouTube channel?
I do. It doesn't have a lot on it, but it's Bonez Poley. It's my name. I'm the only Bonez Poley. If you spell it
Yeah,
correctly,
yeah.
you're gonna find me. Um, I regret, I have a few videos of like my live comedy up on there, and I really regret not getting more recent recordings before the pandemic went down, because the most recent, yeah, right? Like the most recent video that I uploaded was over a year ago, maybe 2 years. And I mean, you know as well as I do, when you're starting out in comedy, the difference between a year is like a lot, because hopefully you're progressing and getting better and stronger. And so I definitely feel like I'm a better comedian now than my videos on YouTube represent me as. And I now, who knows when my next chance is going to be to go out and get live footage, so that's frustrating. But I have my videos. I have one, I started a podcast, not a podcast, a podcast.
Why do you call it a podcast?
So I've always been technologically inept, as you witnessed with us trying to get this Zoom call going. And I never in my whole life owned a cell phone until very recently, but I never had a MP3 player. I never had any like modern technology. I listened to records and tapes, and I have a VHS collection, and I read physical fucking books like I'm old school.
I love it.
Thank you. But my grandmother, I inherited her old iPad. And
I love that you got your grandmother's old iPad.
Right? That was the newest piece of technology that I owned, and it was too old for my 90-something-year-old grandmother. So, so I felt like I had to do something with it. I'm like, oh, I have a pad now, so I could, become part of this technological sphere. So I had Jason Allen over, and I interviewed him, and I was going to make it a whole thing, and I only ever did one episode. But
I actually watched that episode. It was great. You should do more.
Well, now I have a cell phone, so now it's like, because the whole point of that was like, this is my only technology, and it's a pad. That's why it's a podcast. And then I kept saying that I invented the idea, and like no one else has a podcast, so I'm so far behind the times. I'm ahead of them. Like I'm inventing things.
Yeah.
And people were like, "No, Bugs, that exists, and it's called a vlog." I'm like, oh. No.
Well, it's not a vlog if you're interviewing other people, right? A vlog is kind of like a solo thing, isn't it?
That's a good point. Yeah. So it was probably still just a podcast, but
No, but I like it. The podcast, I like it.
Thank you.
I thought it was gonna be like a period thing, like a podcast all about.
You just thought that because I'm a female comedian and we all just talk about our period. I am on my reg right now, in case anybody wanted to know.
They all do, and they're all.
Which means I'm gonna get extra drunk.
Yo, same. Cheers. What are you drinking?
Oh, fuck. You're on your period too, or you're also drinking?
Oh, both. Yeah.
It's a quarantini.
I love it. A quarantini.
It's vodka and vermouth, and then whatever else I had lying around. Because normally I'd put olives in there, but I didn't have any. So there's squeezed an orange and a lemon in there.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then I added some soda water. My drummer just gave me his soda stream, and I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. I love how everything you own is just a gift from someone else, probably.
It's so true. But I give a lot of things to other people. I give back. I karmically deserve it.
For sure. I'm surprised you're not drinking wine. I'm used to you drinking red wine.
I do love me some red wine. I do. I'm literally out of it right now. I like to mix it up, but that's usually my go-to. That's my comedy drink for sure.
You always look so classy with a glass of red wine at the bar.
Are you trying to say I don't look classy with my mishmash in a jar?
Yeah. No, you still look classy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you remember your last set?
My last set. I think probably the last comedy show I did before lockdown was Kaz's. Probably, because I feel the unfortunate thing also is that leading up to the pandemic, I wasn't performing as much as I would like to. Because I just had kind of a tumultuous year, and I was like dealing with some health problems and some landlord problems, and then I was kind of like in between houses for a bit, and like everything was kind of crazy. So I went from gigging like 3 times a week to gigging more like once every week or two. And so then it's even more of a bummer for me that now there's this lockdown, because I'm like, my life has finally settled, so I could finally start focusing on gigging again. And then like, no, I can't. But yeah, I was trying to hold down Kaz's. The nice thing about co-hosting that is like Joelle and I kind of took turns like bailing here and there, and the other person would like hold it down. So towards the end, I bailed a few times on her, but I think I ran the last one that happened. I don't remember what set I did. Now you got me wondering. I don't even remember who was on that. Damn. I'm sure it was great though.
Yeah, Katz's was great. I honestly loved performing there, and you and Joelle were always great. And that's the only time and place that I've
Thanks.
seen 2 people host together, and you guys actually pulled it off. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Did we cut out? Could you hear me?
Thanks. You're getting a little bit choppy, but I can still hear you.
Oh,
Like, I'm still
okay.
following what you're saying this time.
You're coming clear on my end, so.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, no, thank you. I had a lot of fun hosting with her, and I hope we get to keep doing it when this is all over. But I really did find that we had a really fun dynamic, because we weren't sure how that was going to go either. When we first talked about doing a show together, we were like, do we take turns hosting, or do we just, take turns getting up throughout the night? And then we threw out the idea of doing that dialogue. And the first time we did it, we kind of hashed it out a bit in advance, but it was mostly improvised. And I feel like it went really well. And then we just kind of rolled with it. I think we have enough differences and enough similarities that it kind of, yeah, it just gives us a cool dynamic and a lot to play with. And I mean, Joel's a sweetheart. I love her. I miss her so much. Like we worked really well together. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are great. I'm getting her on the podcast, I think, in a couple days.
Nice.
So I asked this to everyone. I think I already know your answer, but I still have to ask. Do you believe in ghosts?
I want to know what you think my answer is.
I think you do. I think it's a yes.
I'm going to say anything's possible.
Okay.
I'm one of those people who I used to be like an adamant atheist. And then over the years, I've become much more of an agnostic and very, very interested in a lot of sort of spiritual things, but I definitely don't, I mean, you can't prove anything on either side. You can't prove that ghosts do exist. You can't prove that they don't. So it's Schrodinger's cat, really. It's like, in my own life, I've definitely witnessed some like strange phenomena that are hard to explain. And, but I'm not going to say, yeah, for sure they're ghosts. And then even if ghosts do exist, what is a ghost, right? I've heard so many different theories about how it could be. Like, I don't think a ghost is like, your grandpa comes back and floats around you, or like, some person that didn't like you comes back and haunts. I don't think it's quite like that. Like, if they do exist, I think it's more like, I like the idea that it's kind of like a wrinkle in time, where it's almost like an overlap, where you're kind of seeing a glimpse of like another time period, because time isn't linear. And so there's that theory that we're constantly popping in and out of our current existence, and maybe our molecules are going to like another like timeline. So maybe you're actually just kind of getting a glimpse of like the other timeline, or a glimpse of the future or the past, which are also happening at the same time. I like that idea. I think that's really cool. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm going to say, sure, it's possible.
So you believe in parallel universes then as a possibility?
As a possibility, yeah.
Where there's different bones that made different choices and different versions of you?
Who knows, right?
But then there would have to be so many, because like think about like what if every little insect, even, like, what if a snail decided to go left instead of right? That's a whole different
Yeah.
universe right now. And you can literally
It's a
do
total
that
mind
for
fuck.
everything, right?
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
it seems like too crazy for me because with everything, it's like you made that choice for a reason, right? Like the snail went left for a reason. It didn't just go left for no reason, right? At least
Did
I don't
it?
know.
Did it?
Yeah, true. Like I don't know. I'm kind of like the same way as you, where I feel like anything's possible, right? Whereas like I don't really know what's going on, so I don't want to like say, yeah, this is for sure the truth, because like I don't fucking know what anything is.
As far as the doing things for a reason goes, there's a lot of things in my life that I definitely did for no reason. Like stand-up comedy. Who knows where that came from, but here we are.
Yeah.
but, but I mean, the universe is infinite, and you can also split particles infinitely, or that's like
Right.
what it seems like from what we've been able to gather so far. So
Hmm.
there are infinite possibilities.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could meet anyone, dead or alive, who are you meeting?
Oh. Huh.
Let's do one of each. Let's do one dead and one alive. So you can have both.
I've already met a lot of my alive, like, people that I would
Okay, like who then? Have
meet.
you met already? That was awesome.
So, like, I've always really idolized Noel Fielding.
Who's that?
Um, he's a stand-up comedian and a visual artist
Mm,
and a bit of a musician. He does a bit of everything. He's one half of the Mighty Boosh. Everyone says they haven't seen that show, and then I say Old Greg, and they're like, "Oh yeah,
right, yeah. I was
that
thinking
can
the
be
same
you."
thing.
Oh
That's
yeah.
hilarious. Yeah. I'm
So Old
okay.
Greg.
Yeah, yeah.
So the whole show is like that kind of vibe where it's like
Hmm.
it's kind of like a sketch show where there's like each episode has sort of a linear plot, but then there's a bunch of nonsense, and you can tell some of it's
Hmm.
kind of improvised. And it's him and Julian Barrett, two stand-up comedians. Anyway, he's hilarious and really um, out there. It's just very eccentric and surreal. His stand-up comedy is like so bizarre. It's so surrealist. So I always wanted to meet him, and then I did, and he told me that I looked like a younger version of him, which is the biggest compliment I have ever received.
That's awesome.
So that was my big, and then another person I always wanted to meet was so I met Noel Fielding, and it was amazing. We talked
Hmm.
for like 15 minutes. I kind of ambushed him outside of the show. I went and saw him at Just for Laughs in Montreal when he still wasn't that big, and I just caught him as he was leaving, and there was no one else really lingering around, so we got to chat for a bit. Now he's huge, because then I saw him at the Danforth, and it was like, packed. And if you wanted to meet him that night, you had to pay for like a VIP, like meet and greet and stuff. So, I mean,
Hmm.
good for him. I'm glad he made it, but I'm not going to pay for, anyway. The other person I always really wanted to meet, and it didn't go as well as the Noel Fielding meeting went, was Tom Green. I've always idolized him, and I got to meet him, and I thought that we were just going to be like soulmates, and I got way too drunk. I think he was just really weirded out by me, which I guess is an accomplishment if I weirded out Tom Green.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing. Like I didn't even know that was possible.
But I don't think it went well. Like, so, and yeah, I don't know, other like icons, like Jack Layton was an icon of mine, and I got to meet him, and he was so beautiful. I'm trying to think of who else is alive that I would like, that I haven't met, that I would still want to. Fuck, that's a hard question. Dude, I don't know. It's not something I think about a lot, I guess, because I've never been super into celebrity culture. I definitely see
Hmm.
them as just like people who like are more ambitious than me, really, at the end of the day. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
can I like think about that more, and then if I think of someone later,
Yeah,
I'll
fuck
I'll
yeah,
come
and
back
then
to
you
it,
can bring
because
him
I don't
back. What about dead people? Is there anyone dead that you
Okay.
wish you could have
Okay.
met or could possibly use a time machine one day and meet them?
I mean, like David Bowie, like that'd be,
Good
who
answer.
doesn't want to meet David Bowie? That'd be
Mhm.
sick as fuck. Thanks. Yeah, I admire Bowie for a million reasons, obviously, but a big one was like the way that he played with gender and like how he was like not afraid to be super feminine and like experiment with like makeup looks and all this stuff. Because myself, I've always felt pretty androgynous, like non-binary, and those terms weren't even really like terms back then. But he
Mhm.
just did whatever he wanted and didn't give a fuck, and owned the fuck out of it and paved the way for like so many more people to do that, and for like men to feel comfortable like wearing makeup and just playing with like gender and roles and identities. And so I love that whole experimentation, on top of the fact that he was a brilliant songwriter and everything else, right? But
Mhm.
I feel like that aspect of him to me is really endearing.
Yeah, for
So
sure. Fucking, he's awesome. And like, even like me, like I've wanted to wear like nail polish and shit, but you just can't as a guy,
do
because then
it, of course you
your
fucking
friends
can.
will bust your balls. Like they'll
Tell
just
your
fucking
friends that they're
roast you
ass
outright.
hats, give me their address, and I'll punch them in the
Yeah.
face. Well, we're social distancing, so I'll punch them in the face when quarantine's over, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, totally.
I'll wear a mask and a
Um,
glove. I'll just run up, punch them, and like run away and sanitize my hands real quick.
fuck yeah. Do you still skate?
I haven't since my most recent accident. I've had a lot of really bad skateboard accidents, but the most recent one was really bad. And then so it was about a year ago, and I shattered my elbow, and I got a really bad concussion, which I'm still
Oh fuck.
recovering from. So I still have my skateboards, and I do not intend to quit forever, but I was kind of giving my body a chance to heal.
Mhm.
I was sort of thinking the other day that I'm ready to get back out there, but I think I have to just like get over the idea of being uncool and just wear a fucking helmet and probably some fucking pads, because I'm not getting any younger, and I kind of like my head and body. you know
Yeah, you have this great joke that you just reminded me of.
I know, as I was saying it, I was like, oh, I already kind of have a bit like this. And
Yeah.
my bit is about how I do wear a helmet when I ride my bike.
Yeah.
And I do wear a helmet when I'm cycling, but I never wore a helmet skateboarding. And I don't know why, but it's just so much less cool to wear a helmet
Yeah.
skateboarding.
And it's more dangerous in a way.
But I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
start. I want to get some really funky neon pads, like I want to find some retro, like super obnoxious, very neon, very 80s kind of elbow and knee pads.
If anyone can make it look cool, it's you, Bones.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
Shucks.
So what happened? What was the accident? Do you want to talk about it or?
It's so embarrassing. Like, I'll talk about it, but it's so
Yes.
embarrassing. I wasn't doing anything cool. I wasn't doing a trick or anything. I was just really drunk, and I was coming home from the bar, and my famous last words. My friend and I were walking together part way, and then we kind of got to the point where like his house is this way, mine's this way, and so I was walking with him, and then as we parted ways, I was about to hop on my skateboard, and I kind of second guessed it, and I turned to my friend and I said, like, hey, do you think I'm too drunk to skateboard? And he was like, yes, definitely. And then I got on my skateboard, and a few blocks later, I woke up in the middle of the road with my glasses smashed into a million pieces and my skateboard like super far away from me. And who knows what happened? And I blacked out. And I was like in the middle of the road. Who knows how long I was out for? Because there was no one around to like that saw me. All I know is I blacked out because I woke up and I was totally confused. And I must have just like, hit a fucking crack or a pebble, or like, who knows, who knows. But yeah, and then I got up And I was like, oh, fuck, like that was fucked up. And I like collected all the pieces of my glasses for some reason. Like, what's even the point? and then I hopped back on my skateboard and skated the rest of the way home. Or no, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I think I didn't collect the glasses at first. I think I got home, realized I didn't have my glasses, turned around, went back downtown.
No way. Why? You're not like glue them all back together. Like, what are you gonna do?
So drunk. I actually, I did bend the frames back into shape, and I was able to reuse them and just buy new lenses. So I guess it was kind of worth getting them, I guess. But yeah, but at least I did walk the second time instead of skating.
Okay.
I did walk.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Oh my God, I feel like I could talk about this for a while. I forgot all about how insane this night was. So I get back home, and I'm plastered, so I'm not really feeling a lot of pain at first. And then I start kind of noticing, I'm like, oh, I can't really like straighten my arm. I feel like that's probably a bad thing.
Yeah.
I remember I made a Facebook status asking people, I think I just said, is it bad if you can't straighten your arm? And everyone was like, yeah, go to the hospital. And some people waited and they're like, no, you could just do stretches and whatever. I don't know. Everyone had different opinions.
Yeah.
And then, but finally my one friend, Steve, was commenting on it, and he was just making fun of me. He's like, you will succumb to your injuries. Like, you're going to die from a broken elbow. And he was just ripping on me, but he was ripping on me for a while. And I'm like, and by this point it's like 6 a.m. because I've been up all night. And I'm like, all right, Steve has time to rip on me for a while, and it's 6 a.m. and he has a car. I'm like, I'm gonna bug him to drive me to the hospital. So I called Steve, and he came and collected me and took me to the hospital. No, we went to the walk-in clinic first, because the Pelham clinic has x-rays and they don't have as long of a wait time as the hospital. We went there first, got the x-ray. They said, yes, it's broken, go to the hospital. I'm like, what's even the point of you guys having an x-ray? Anyway. Right?
Yeah.
So then we go to the hospital, but while Steve was waiting for me at the Pelham clinic, this whole thread is still going on that I started with my post, and all these different people are weighing in, and Steve's still joking about how I'm going to die of a broken elbow. And because we hadn't really realized yet either that I had like this major concussion either. I was just kind of focusing on this. And then he made a fake post about how I had died and showed it to me first. And he's like, is it okay if I post this? And I read it. It was like, she'll live on forever in our hearts and dreams. And she touched all of us. And, it was one of the
Yeah.
And he shows it to me. He's like, can I post this? And I'm like, yes, but you have to get like a cheesy picture of a candle or something. So he did. And then he posted. And then he drops me off at the hospital, and then he had an appointment at the bank or something. I'm at the hospital now. There's no Wi-Fi at the hospital. Steve's at the bank or something. So neither one of us are anywhere near the internet. Well, a bunch of people, I guess, saw his post and took it seriously, even though it was clearly a joke. It was clearly in this thread of like him joking for a while about me, how I was going to die. Like, it was
right.
So obviously a joke, I feel. Some people saw it, thought it was real. Next thing you know, word spreads like wildfire. So now people who haven't seen this post are just hearing like, Bonez died. Everyone's losing their shit.
Yeah.
I had my friends in all different cities were like phoning me and messaging me and like phoning each other. And the whole time I'm in the hospital for a few hours. I have no idea any of this is going on. And Steve's in the bank and it's appointment, so he has no idea. Yeah. And then he comes out of his appointment, everyone's losing their shit. And I guess he wrote like, oh, sorry guys, I was just kidding. And everyone flipped on him. They're like, you fucking asshole, that's not funny. It's not a funny thing to joke about. People were like threatening him. People were threatening to beat him up. Yeah. And I'm in the hospital this whole time, no idea. I finally come out of the hospital with my cast and shit, and Steve's just standing there sheepishly, like, all of your friends want to kick my ass.
Yeah.
So I had to go do some serious damage control. Like, guys, no, Steve's nice. We like him. He brought me to the hospital.
Yeah,
don't
Steve
hurt
sounds
him.
great. Everybody, Steve's a good guy, okay?
Oh, I do feel really bad for my poor friends. And then Steve's suggestion, though, at this point was, he said, we should maintain that you're dead and throw a fake funeral.
He's like, yeah, let's see this through. He's like, I can't handle it.
That would be hilarious, but at that point, I would no longer have friends to be upset.
Yeah.
Be like,
Plus, you don't want to like hurt them like
JK.
that. Yeah.
No, of course not. It's gonna be so horrible. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my god.
So with your podcast, what was
Yeah.
it? Did you have a theme, or was it just interviewing random people? Was that what it was gonna be?
My theme, so I made Jason, because I knew that Jason used to play music, and he doesn't really anymore. But I made him play guitar for my cats. And I had them, you know, sitting in office chairs, so like it was like talk show setup, but Slayer's the one interviewing him kind of thing. And she just sat there looking really disinterested. So I was going to do that on every episode. I was going to get each person that I interviewed, I was going to have them like perform for my cat first, and then just have the cat sitting there looking really unimpressed. And then follow it with an interview. That was like the only running theme was that, and then the fact that I suck at technology. And just that I'm old fashioned. So I was going to open every episode by playing a record, like on my record player. And yeah, that was about all I had for it. I don't know.
Your record is the only record I own.
Oh,
how crazy is that?
Sweet.
Yeah.
You're such a sweetheart, Sab. Thank you.
Stop. It's about you. It's about you, not me. Do you have any stuff you want to plug? If people need more bones in their life, how do they get more bones?
So, we mentioned my YouTube channel. There is also a Pisser YouTube channel. So that's my band,
Okay,
Pisser.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
We are the only Pisser band. And if you just type,
yeah.
which I'm pretty proud of. I was stoked that I came up with that name, and then I was stoked that no one else had it already because I thought it was a really good name. But
it almost like sounds like, well, not like Sex Pistols, but like Clash or something. You know what I mean? Where it's like a one-word thing that could be a band. I'm surprised it's not. It's awesome.
And
you got that.
I actually just realized, I just remembered. So after we had been around for a while, another Pisser did come out. Sorry. So there are actually now two. We were first. The other ones they're actually kind of a super group of like musicians from old school hardcore bands. I wish I could remember more details. I should. And they were good, but either way, we had the fucking name first.
So fuck
them. If you type, yeah. But if you type Pisser Band, we are the first one that comes up. So you can go to our Bandcamp. You can stream our album for free. You can download it for cheap. You can buy records through me or through Schizophrenic Records, who put it out for us. We do have a YouTube channel, which is Pisser Thrash. But again, if you just search Pisser Band, it'll come up. Same with on Facebook, Pisser Thrash. I'm Bonez Poley on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I think that's all the things. I don't have a TikTok. My drummer told me that if I get a TikTok, he's not going to be friends with me anymore. But then I called him out on it, because if I get a TikTok and I don't tell him about it and he finds out about it, that means he was on TikTok.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a good point. You guys are still together, right, Pisser?
Yeah, so theoretically, right? Even right before the pandemic, we were already kind of taking a brief hiatus. The last show we played was, I believe, October, maybe November.
Oh, wow.
But either way, our plan was to just kind of take a break for a few months and then get back together and focus on writing for a few months before we play any more shows, because we're really eager to get another album out. And then this whole lockdown pandemic thing happened, and everything's kind of up in the air. Most of us are not great at technology. I know some bands have been really good at like sending each other stuff and writing stuff over the internet. And I think if the pandemic lasts for a long time, we're probably going to we're going to try to figure out how to do that. And, we're all kind of starting to figure out how we might go about doing it. But yeah, we're not broken up. We're theoretically still together, but everything's just kind of on hold and up in the air right now. But yeah, but we do have that album that we didn't put out like too long ago. So let's keep writing that for a bit. Oh, my cat's saying hi. Come here. Come here.
Yeah, get your cat in here.
I want to grab her, but I'm like attached to this thing, and I'm gonna pull everything over.
Okay.
Let's see if this is doable.
Yeah.
Hi, kitty. Who's a little boo? Oh, I got her.
Yes.
So this
Love
is
it. Snare?
Slayer.
Oh, Slayer. I like the band.
Like the band. They're not even, I mean, I like Slayer. They're not my favorite band or anything. I kind of named her that as a joke, as like what would be the douchiest, most stereotypical metalhead name possible.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of stuck. But yeah, she's my life partner.
I wish I wasn't allergic to cats. If I was doing that, I would be sneezing everywhere.
I feel like, I mean, obviously people have different severities when it comes to their allergies, but I do feel that you can build up a tolerance.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I used to be allergic to cats. It wasn't super severe, but it was like I would, if I was around them, I would get stuffed up and like itchy nose and stuff. And then I just got one, and then not this one. My first cat was a while ago, but I just got one, and then like eventually I just got over it. It just I feel like your body just gets used to it. And you slowly just build up the antibodies or whatever. Yeah,
for sure.
I just said that and then sniffled. I'm over it. Worth it.
Is that your only pet? You just got Slayer, or you have other pets?
This is my only pet. Oh, she's looking at the camera. Look at how
I love it.
Cute she is.
Oh. This is the thumbnail right here.
Yes. Love it. Yeah, I just moved into this new apartment, and it's the top floor of my buddy's house. So he has the main floor, and then we share the basement and the yard and stuff, which is awesome. But he also has a cat, and his cat is also a calico. So our dream is for them to be friends, but calicos are notoriously antisocial. Like Slayer loves people, but I've had other roommates with pets, and I've tried introducing her to other animals, and she's not into it. So we're trying to like get them used to each other's scent, and like try to ease them into hanging out with each other, because it would just be so cute.
Have you tried like putting them together yet? Has anything happened?
Not yet. Like no, we're easing them into the idea of each other. They're aware of each other. Because I go downstairs and hang out, and then I come up and I smell like Brian's cat. And when I go down there, I smell like my cat, and they're both sniffing me, and they're like, something's. And then there's like a main kind of entranceway that we both share. And the cats both kind of go in there sometimes, and then they're aware that the other one's like around. But I'm afraid that it'll go badly. I think we have to ease them in really gently.
Yeah, for sure. So how are you staying sane during quarantine? Like, what are you doing?
I guess I was lucky because I had to move during quarantine, so that's been keeping me really busy. And I luckily I got this place at the end of March, or sorry, when the fuck did I move in here? It's May now. Yeah, so I got the place, and then I started moving kind of in the middle of March before lockdown was really a thing. So I had a few friends that helped me move some of my stuff. But then lockdown happened, and then so my drummer's been my social distance partner, and he helped me move all the rest of my shit, just the two of us, and it was a nightmare. I have way too much stuff. I have a legitimate hoarding problem, and I'm really lucky that my new place is really close to my old place, because there was some stuff that didn't fit in Matt's car, and we just physically carried it down the street. Just like walked it over. Yeah, but so I got it all in, and now my place is still just chaos. So I've kind of just been focusing on like unpacking and setting stuff up and getting settled, and so that's been like keeping me pretty busy, and I'm hanging out with the cat and getting her settled. And I've been going for a lot of walks though, and I've started running, which is not something I ever thought I would do, but I guess especially since I haven't been skateboarding, it's like I need some kind of good cardio. And I don't know, I'm really into yoga too, so I do a lot of yoga, which is like something I already did pre-quarantine, but trying to keep up with that because that helps with the mental health, helps with the panic and anxiety, to just like practice mindfulness and focus. So yeah, that's about it. I kind of this is my first public appearance
Love it.
since the
Thank you so
lockdown.
much. It's like makes me feel warm inside that you would do it for me.
Oh, I
Why didn't
appreciate
you
you
do
having me.
why didn't you do any like Zoom shows or anything like that? Is it not something you're interested in?
Well, again, my life's just been so chaotic. I just didn't feel like literally my life's just been in shambles for a while. Like I said, I was kind of like in between places for a while, and I've been dealing with health issues and da 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 da, and so it was kind of like I just needed this breather and needed a chance to get settled. And then there was that part of me, I think that every comedian feels, like you get angry at yourself when you're not being hyper productive. It's like, oh my God,
Right.
if I'm not gigging every night of the fucking week, then what am I even doing, you know? And then all my friends were doing Zoom shows and podcasts and all this stuff, and I was like, fuck, I should be doing all this stuff. But I've just been trying not to beat myself up too hard about it. And I think I mean I will. I'll get around to it. I think I am going to start my own podcast, or pick up the podcast again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I want to figure out how to get better at using technology, so that maybe I can start working on writing music with my bandmates and stuff again too. And, I mean, if this is going to last a long time, which it's looking like it will, then I'm going to have to figure it out, because there is that part of me that needs to be putting some kind of creative something out into the world, and otherwise I just kind of feel like, I don't know, I don't want to say like worthless, because that's shitting on anyone who's not creative, but like for me it's just like, it's like my outlet. So like I just feel like shitty if I'm not like, you know, using that as like my way of coping, like, I guess. Yeah.
Right. I feel that for sure. Totally. Like what kind of stuff do you watch YouTube or like Netflix or stuff like that? What kind of stuff do you watch?
uh I I do watch a lot of stand-up comedy, which I never used to. Well, and I say a lot for me. I've never been a huge TV watcher.
Yeah.
And prior to being a comedian, I never watched stand-up ever. But now as a comedian, I'm like interested in seeing what other people are doing. Netflix shows. I really liked Atypical. It was a semi-recent one that they put up about a kid with autism, and just like
Okay.
basically just like his struggle with, you know, how to fit into the real world and how to life. I'm not autistic, but I do have other mental health issues, and some of my close friends are autistic, so that really, like, you know, hits close to home with me. And I also really enjoy seeing shows finally that aren't like trying to convince everyone that there's just this one type of normal that we're all striving to achieve. Like everyone thinks that they're just supposed to live like the characters on Friends or whatever, and it's like I like seeing like other sort of
Avenues
like
explored or
different
whatever,
types of
right?
people and
Yeah.
different types of mindsets and stuff being portrayed.
hmm
What's that?
Yeah. So basically, I was just saying like
Yeah,
other
and being
avenues
portrayed
explored. Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I really love
Yeah,
about
yeah,
comic books
yeah.
or like books in general is that you don't need all that budget of like having a TV show or a movie, and then they can actually explore these ideas that those big productions are afraid to do, right?
Totally.
hmm
And I mean, that's also like, I've always been really into B movies. Like most of my favorite movies are B movies. And I
hmm
think, yeah, they can kind of get away with exploring different ideas, because I feel like a lot of people in Hollywood are just limited to only being allowed to express whatever the people who are funding them like want them to express. A lot of really great movies get shelved just because like the big time producers aren't like, well, that's not the narrative that we're trying to shove down everyone's throats, so X-may. So like I always have a lot of appreciation for people who are willing to put different ideas out there and to like put forth the effort to like make it good. And especially with a limited budget, it's that much more impressive when you're able to pull off a well-made film or TV show. But I also think that as much as I'm often like old-fashioned and anti-technological advancements, I think Netflix has been really, really, really good for that, because TV stations used to control the narrative and they controlled what types of shows people watched, and now anybody can make a fucking show and put it on the internet. So there's like the world has opened up a lot to a lot of different ideas, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, but I feel like it's almost like going back to how it was. Like now YouTube is censoring more and more people kind of deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Well, like the thing that my issue with YouTube is that they're not like transparent and upfront about stuff. So like I was like commenting on all people's videos. I was like, fucking awesome, like this is the shit or whatever, right? But if you swear in your comments, YouTube holds those comments and they're not there. So like, and they don't tell you that they're doing that, right? So like the comments get put into like a separate box that only like the person that put the video up can see, and then they can choose to allow them or whatever. And like I'm fine if YouTube doesn't want me swearing in the comments as long as they tell me your comment didn't go through, right? Because I'm like wasting my time commenting thinking that it goes through, and it looks to me like it does go through, right?
Yeah,
but then if somebody else goes on their account, they don't see my comments. How weird is that? Did I lose you? You're frozen. Oh no.
Oh shit! I think we just lost the connection. I've got you back. Can you see me again?
Yeah, for a second. You were gone for a second there.
Yeah, you too.
Oh.
I just fucked up. All right, there we are. I swear I wasn't the reason it went away. I didn't do anything. I was just sitting here.
It might be my fault. I live in the middle of nowhere. It's bad internet out here.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Where do you live? I always thought you were in the Falls, no?
Well, like I grew up in the Falls. I lived there till I was probably like 20 something. And then we moved out here, and it's like in between like the Falls and Welland. It's like in the middle of the country.
Okay. Sounds nice.
I don't want to be too specific in case I have any like stalkers, subscribers.
My postal code is
Ryan Sim found my house because of a YouTube video. How crazy is that?
What?
He spent like 4 hours on Google Maps just like looking at shit.
I love Ryan. What a nutbag.
He's great. It's so funny. I loved it. Everyone else was like calling him creepy and shit. I was like, man, it's fucking awesome.
Did that interrupt this or no? Somebody was just phoning me and I turned it off.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just talking. I didn't even notice.
Okay. Yeah, Ryan's awesome.
Ryan's great.
Regarding the YouTube.
Oh no, you muted yourself.
I didn't realize that they were doing that, but I was just lamenting the other day, but also appreciating that we at our age we got to witness like the glory days of the internet. Like when the internet first became accessible to pretty much everybody in affluent nations, it was like a free-for-all. And everybody kind of had their own low budget website, and everybody kind of had and there were so many different websites that did like a similar thing. And if you searched for like a topic, you would get a bunch of sites that were made by people who were genuinely just passionate about that topic, and now everything is, first of all, you've got to now access the internet through like these corporate apps that control what you're seeing. Like Google tailors your search results. Like if I searched for the same thing as you, we would get different results, which is already like so fucked. And then there's also like whoever pays more money gets their result up higher in the listings. And then so you're accessing the internet through these corporate apps, and then you're like, when you're looking at this information, it's on these corporate sites, and it's all just like everything's just been commodified, and it's harder to find like good objective information now, and it's also everything's just being exploited and capitalized, and I don't know, but I feel like it's so cool that we got to witness that time when it wasn't like that, and like the younger generation will never know what that was like. And
Yeah,
so,
fuck yeah, I totally agree. And one other thing that's like fucked up that's going on with the internet now is like, say you get your internet through like Kojiko, for example, and you go on like a Bell website, then Kojiko might be slowing down that website so it goes like super slow and shitty. And they
I
do
never
shit
thought
like
about that,
that,
but
and
thanks for
that's
pointing it out.
allowed. Like, how fucked is that?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. But
And
yeah.
even not to mention that like things like certain things are being censored. Like there's definitely
Mhm.
information that not to go like full blown conspiracy theorist, and I also hate even, it's dangerous to question anything these days because then you're just fueling the nutballs who think that fucking coronavirus isn't even real, and it's just like, oh
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
But there's definitely like, the quote unquote like powers that be, like there are 1% of elite, billionaires running the world who don't want you to have access to certain information, and they have enough money that they can pay people to have it pretty well removed from the internet.
Mhm.
I mean, there's certain stuff that, I mean, if you search hard enough, there's maybe dark corners of the black web that you'll find it, but there's like definitely information that's just flat out like censored on like this worldwide web that's supposed to just be like an access to for everybody to have access to any and all information. And it's like, not really. Like, not only is it tailored to have what they want you to see at the top, but even if you
Mhm.
dig to the bottom, some of the stuff's like just not there, or like really hard to find. And I feel like it's just going to get worse and worse, right? It's just going to get more and
Yeah.
more controlled and censored. And like, yeah, and with like YouTube, like how you can't even listen to a fucking song now without an ad in the fucking middle of it. Like,
I
what the
hate
shit
that.
is that?
Yeah.
Drives me nuts, for
So
sure.
crazy. What do you think about Jeff Bezos? He's gonna be a trillionaire soon, which is
What a fucking asshole,
1,000
man.
billion. Yeah, how fucked is
And
that?
he's asking his own employees to donate their sick pay to other like, oh, you
So
poor
fucked
people
up.
should help the other poor people. I wouldn't want to lose like, ooh, what a tiny little hairline fragment of my fucking, what a piece of shit. We should literally just fucking, I shouldn't say what I was about to say on the internet because
Yeah, yeah.
incriminating. Whatever I was about to say, I was kidding, but also not. Seriously, somebody just. Okay, anyway.
Yeah. Have you ever bought anything off Amazon before?
Fuck no.
Me
I've
neither.
been I've been
Yes. You're the only
adamantly.
person that I've met that hasn't
Fuck
bought
you.
anything off Amazon.
I've been adamantly against it from the get-go. And when
Yeah.
Amazon first, that being said, way back in the day when it was just books, now that I think about it, I honestly might have bought like a book.
Okay,
Uh,
I'll forgive that.
before
That's forgivable.
before it was like a huge, yeah, thank you. But as
Yeah.
soon as it started taking over, I mean, I've always been the person who like, I don't shop at Walmart. I just flat
Mm,
out don't. Like I don't buy fast food. I don't like, and I just don't like ever.
mm,
Like even when I'm on tour and everyone's like, well, you gotta eat. I'm like, I don't fucking care, man. I'll wait till we get to a grocery store and I'll stock up, or I'll wait till I find an independent little fucking cafe. But like,
mhm,
I've always been adamantly against corporate takeover, and that's just like what I was talking about with the internet. Same within like the physical realm. It's just eventually that's going to be all that we have. There's going to be no such thing as
mhm,
small businesses anymore, and it's already getting to that point, especially in a lot of small towns. Like these big box stores come in and just wipe everything else out, and it's like destroying the local economy, destroying local lives. It's dividing the or it's exacerbating the class divide, making the rich richer, the poor poorer. It's taking away like people's rights and freedoms and job security and benefits and da 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 da. Like everything's just getting increasingly worse, and it will only continue to as long as people keep supporting these evil corporations. And like, there's an
mhm.
easy answer. The easy answer is kill Jeff Bezos, but the next is the second easiest answer is everybody just fucking stop it. Stop
Right.
supporting these corporations. Just fucking
Mhm.
stop it. I don't care if you're poor. So am I. Like, you can still shop around. You can get your deals. You can still find good deals from time. A lot of the stuff that you are buying on Amazon, you could buy that exact same product from the supplier directly instead of through Amazon. And then the
Right.
supplier is making more money because they don't have to give a cut to Amazon. You're probably getting a better deal because they don't have to give a cut to Amazon. And you're not fucking supporting this like pure unadulterated evil that's engulfing humanity.
And
Fuck.
like, yeah, you're giving these corporations too much power, right? Like, the thing that I don't like about YouTube is that there's no competitor. So they can do
Yeah.
whatever the fuck they want. If Walmart comes in and all the small stores close, then Walmart can just raise their prices if they want, and everyone has to deal with that. Or they can literally do whatever
Yeah.
they want, and everyone has to deal with it because they don't have another choice because they chose Walmart, you know?
Yes. Well put. Well put. And I think that notion is especially terrifying when it comes down to food security, because these massive corporations are slowly taking over the food supply. And um, as soon as a corporation like Monsanto has complete control, like, because they've been doing things like, they're patenting certain plants, certain like genes of plants, and then they're like creating these seeds that don't like like that, like normally plants produce seeds and then you can just take those and plant new plants, but they're like
Mhm.
making seeds that don't produce seeds, and you can't just make new plants. You have to get your plants from them because you can't grow your own. Eventually they're going to just produce all the food. You won't be able to grow your own. You won't be able to get food anywhere else. And when you control the food supply, you have complete control, because like we need fucking food. Like
Yeah.
stuff that you get from Walmart, you're like, well, I could deal without like a lint roller or like, I don't know, like whatever the fuck
Mhm.
else, the other bullshit thing you would buy. But like food, no, at that point we're fucked, like
Mhm.
completely. And that's something that just I feel nobody thinks about. And I think it's an important thing to think about.
Yeah, you're fucking totally right, and it's scary to think about. And like, no one's really brought that to my attention before. Like the whole thing. Like, I know that's possible because like I used to eat grapes with seeds in them, and now all the grapes I've eaten for the past like 20 years have had no seeds, right? So like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely there. But I didn't know that like that they were doing that with other plants. Like, what's this company?
Monsanto is one of the
Huh?
big ones. It's the big one.
Yeah.
And like they do some really shady shit. There's some great documentaries about it, but like for example, so they have like this patented soy plant, and it's like a GMO version of soy. And
Mhm.
like first of all, it's bad for you. Like there's been like multiple like studies proving that your body just like rejects it essentially. Um, because your body doesn't recognize it as being like natural food. And I mean, and that's a whole nother, debate. And like, some GMOs are better than others and it's a whole thing. But anyway, specifically what they do though is they'll go and cross pollinate other farmers' fields with their patented brand. So this guy over here is just growing his own organic soy. He's just keeping to
Mhm.
himself. He's just some sweet little farmer. His farm's been in the Jet family for generations. It's his whole livelihood. Monsanto comes along, intentionally blows some of their shit into his crop, cross pollinates it. Now he's growing their patented plant. Now they fucking sue him and destroy his life. And they've done that to so many people. And that is fucked. That is like, there's so many fucked things they're
Holy
doing that
shit.
that one is just like where you're just like, wow, they're actually
Mhm.
pure evil. Like they actually don't, like the people who run
Yeah.
that company do not have souls. That's just, it's insane.
And like, how do you stop that? Because I feel like no matter how much people talk about things like this, like nothing happens. Like,
Yeah. I
so
mean,
what do we do?
and the other solution, like again, it's like kind of the same solution that I presented before with the Amazon and stuff. It's like we pretty much all have to boycott, right? You have to like make a point of knowing where your food's coming from. Shop at your local farmers market. Shop at your local health food store. Grow your own food. Go to local independent restaurants instead of fast food companies.
Mhm.
Like read the ingredients on things that you buy. Like pay attention to what your food actually is and where it's coming from.
Mhm.
Like so many people don't think about it, and it's like not only is there that terrifying potential outcome of just this, you know, living in this fucking Soylent Green typed world where there's just one person who decides what we all eat, but there's also even just like I was saying, the fact that a lot of these plants nowadays, and not even necessarily just the genetically modified plants, but also plants that have been altered with just like selective breeding, which is a different thing. I could go on, I get into this and I won't, but a lot of the food you buy at the grocery store isn't as healthy as it should be. A tomato that you find at the grocery store does not have the same amount of nutrients as a tomato that your grandmother would have bought at a store or at a
And they
market.
actually color them too, which is fucked up.
Yeah, some of them, yeah, which is also super weird for sure. So like I'm really passionate about growing heirloom varieties of food, which basically just means it's the old varieties. It's what they used to be before they were bred into being these products that are like, they do it because for a lot of reasons, like they make them so that they're easier to grow, so they're like more uniform in appearance, so that they're easier to market.
So they get bigger and stuff too, produce
Stuff
more.
like that, yeah. And like the tomatoes that I grow are like all different colors. I have like black tomatoes and yellow and green and stripy ones, and you know, and they all have different flavors, and they all have
That's
so
awesome.
much more flavor and so much more nutrients. And I'm really passionate about growing those varieties because also a lot of them are like going extinct basically because people don't grow them anymore, and no one like even really knows about them. And eventually they're just going to be gone, and then we're just going to have like this new version of food that isn't food. Like it's fucked up.
It is. It's so fucked. Like even like carrots. Like most people probably don't know this, but carrots used to be all different colors, not just orange.
Yeah, man.
And then there was some prince that just really liked the orange ones, so he started growing those ones, and it just became a thing. But like I've had
Totally.
purple carrots, yellow carrots, and they taste different and they're delicious and
They
they're just like
do.
they're better. But it's
I
like
love the purple ones.
so like how my trouble is like how do we convince people to like actually like do what you said? You know, people are just no matter how much you talk about it, how much you try to get people to change, people are just gonna keep buying fast food. They're gonna keep doing what's most convenient for them, you know?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine, man. I try to talk about it. I don't talk about it a whole lot in my stand-up, and I think I always kind of feel like when I'm at like a later point in my stand-up career, I'll start talking about it more. But I didn't want to be that amateur comedian who's not very good, and then everyone just sees me as just being preachy and not even funny, you know? Like I
Right,
feel like
right.
but there's a tactful way of being preachy and funny. Some of my favorite comedians did that, but I talk about it a lot in my music. I talk about it a lot on stage when Pisser plays, and I rant about it a lot too. Just people IRL.
Yeah.
I have changed several people's minds for sure. Some of my closest friends, when I met them, they like lived off fast food, and now they wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole because I just rambled about it enough that they finally, you know, heard me. And then once you start eating better food, you notice that you feel better. And then you're like, oh, like this is worth doing, not only for the sake of like saving the world, but it's like legitimately you just feel better when you're eating real food that's more nutrient rich and it tastes better. And it's just like, yeah, like once you get into the habit of doing that, you're like, why did I ever eat shit food? What was up with that? Like, and yeah, I guess fast food is convenient, but so is walking out to my garden, picking something directly off the plant and taking a fucking bite out of it. There's nothing more convenient than that.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I've been off fast food, well, like as much as I can at least for like a couple years now, and it's like if I eat
For you.
McDonald's, I get sick, you know? Like I notice
Right?
it like the next day even, like I'm not good, you know? It's like a couple
Totally.
days before I'm like back to normal.
Yeah. That happens to me too. Yeah, the last time I even had fast food was like a year or two ago, and it was just like, you know, I was in Toronto and I was hungover, and it was the only thing nearby in the neighborhood at my friends where I was crashing was just like an A&W. So I just got like a veggie burger, and that's it. And yeah, I fucking puked my guts out. And I like, oh my God, it was so bad. It was so, and like part of it is like, when you deprive your body of it, your body's not used to it. So it's going to make you more sick. But the other part of it is that when you're eating it all the time, you do feel like shit all the time and you just don't notice because that's your normal. So
Right.
you think that that's what being alive feels like. You know, you don't know any better. And then when you switch to a better diet, you're like, holy fuck, it's actually possible to like have all this energy and like, you know, your mental health is better, your physical health is better, you sleep better, your fucking skin looks better. Like it's just like a whole another world. So I feel like if I just keep ranting about that, I don't know. I'm hoping I can convince everybody. I don't know, man. I don't know how we convince everybody. I feel like a lot of people are just really apathetic, which is super frustrating in a lot of ways.
If we convince one person from this podcast, I'm happy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. That'd be dope.
And if anybody has any questions about it, feel free to personally message me. I will help you start a garden. I will help you find local resources, places where you can get good food. I would be really happy to help anybody who wants to embark on this journey because I'm like, if you couldn't tell, I'm pretty passionate about it.
Fuck yeah. What if someone just wants to start a garden, what should they start with? What's like easiest?
Beans are so easy. Yeah, beans are so easy. That's like the one that they like, you know, teach like kids to grow, right? You just like take a bean, just take a dried bean that you could just buy at like any store, and then just put it in a wet paper towel for a few days, keep the paper towel wet until it sprouts, and then put it in the ground, maybe about like this deep, and water it for the first little bit, and then you don't even really have to water it after that. Once it like gets going, the rain will take care of it. They do well
You
in
gotta put it
sun, they
like
do well in
next to a
shade, they
fence
do
or something.
well. So there's different types of beans. Some climb and some don't. So
Okay.
yeah, there is that aspect. If it seems like it's getting really viney, then give it a stake to climb if it's not next to a fence or something. Yeah, good point. Good addendum there. Yes. That's I think greens tend to be really easy. Like kale is like super easy and it's so healthy. And even if you don't like it, just fucking put it in smoothies with a bunch of fruit. You can't even taste it, man. It's so good for you. That's a super easy one. Those would be good starts, you know. And then if you even just get used to growing a few plants and get a feel for it, and then like once you get into it, then like learning other plants isn't that hard. And at the end of the day, none of it's really that hard, honestly. And again, like I'd be so happy to help anyone. There's also so many resources on Google, obviously. But like if you're like interested in growing any one particular plant, just Google whether it needs sun or shade. Google like how far apart you should space them when you plant them. If you're hesitant to start things from seed, you can buy seedlings like where somebody else already started it. It's just a mini plant, and you just buy that and plant it, and then you're more guaranteed that it's gonna grow because it's already a plant. So that's like an even easier way to start if you're like you don't know what you're doing. And like you can get seedlings at a lot of places around here. There's tons of independent farms that sell them directly from the farm. My favorite is Tree and Twig. You can find them on social media. But farmers markets, you know, when they open back up, they often, you know, you'll find seedlings there, or at any kind of like garden centers and stuff too. They're all over the place. It's pretty easy to find. It's pretty easy to do once you just decide to do it.
Everyone's growing weed nowadays. I mean, if you want to grow vegetables, you can figure it out.
Straight up. And I'm going to be honest with you. I grew a lot of weed when I was a teenager and in my early 20s. So, and back then I wasn't that passionate about gardening, really. I was into weed, but I was kind of just living off kind of junky food back then. Still not fast food, but I feel like I was just living off of like, I don't even know, like potatoes, like, and that's it. I don't even know. But then when I decided to start growing vegetables, I already kind of had an upper hand because I had been growing weed for so long. Weed and tomatoes are very similar. If you've grown weed, you can grow tomatoes, man, no problem. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, this has been great. I think we've been talking a little over an hour. I think it's about a good time to cut it. Is there anything you wanted to say before we go?
I don't know, man. I'm sorry I rambled for so long about that
No, I
shit.
love it. I love it,
Okay.
honestly. Like
Okay.
it's fucking awesome. It's hard to keep these all different, and I really feel like this one was different and good. I always end up asking the same
Awesome.
questions, and like I really got into this conversation, which I love. So you're great. Trust me.
Awesome. Aw, well, thank you. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for caring about all this stuff. I'm always like stoked to meet other people who give a shit. Um, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I've already covered everything I wanted to say. Check out all my social media and stuff. I do theoretically have a website, which is bonespoley.com. It recently got hacked, which makes me feel really special. Like I'm important enough that somebody wanted to hack my website.
Yeah.
It, again, with me not being good with technology, I had to like get some friends to fix it for me. So they fixed it, but now I have to like rebuild it. So if you go to bonespoley.com right now, probably doesn't have anything on it. Then
What
again, I'm
happened
gonna
when it
post.
was hacked? Like, what'd they do?
They just changed the background and just wrote something like "You've been hacked by blah blah blah," and then they put their like nerd handle to, I don't know. It's just like a trophy. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah. Um, but my nerd friend sorted it out for me.
Nice.
So thank you, Zach, and a beer. Um, maybe by the time this gets posted, I'll have it back up because that's on the to-do list. But yeah,
Okay,
you can
cool.
check out all my social media. You can check out my band. Support independent businesses, guys, especially during this time, because right
Mhm.
now everyone is just ordering everything off Amazon, and by the time the
Mhm.
pandemic's over, all your favorite local stores and restaurants are going to be fucking gone, and your local economy is going to be shit, and the world's going to be even more fucked for poor people if we don't all make an effort right now to really like support each other and build each other up. So support independent businesses as much as you can. Support each other as much as you can. Like ask your neighbors if they need anything. Like just do whatever you can to help each other out right now, because we really need to just keep each other afloat and keep each other sane. Yeah, that's. I feel like those are good last words.
Fuck yes. Well said. Love you, Bones.
I love you. Thanks for having me.
You're
Take
welcome.
care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.